Hey guys, Adam Shaw here. This is the second video in my what we can learn from series. This time it's Buakaw, and this fight is from is the 2004 GP for K1. This is the last fight. It's against Masato. So Buakaw already fought John Wayne Parr and Takayuki. Well, I can't remember his second name, but so he'd already fought 6 rounds. This would be his third fight of the night. So yeah, this will be all the way up to 9 rounds for one tournament. Honestly, there's so much that we can learn from watching Buakaw. He's one of my favourites to watch and learn from. But yeah, we'll take this fight in particular. So let's have a look. Turn it down. So you'd expect him to be knackered, right? Like he's already fought 2 hard fights. Actually, the John Wayne Parr fight was hard. I can't remember if it had to go a 4th round, but I've got a feeling it did. And then the Takayuki fight is the one where, if you type in Buakaw angry on YouTube, you'll see it's the one where the guy fouls him and Buakaw just smashes his legs to bits. But yeah, so imagine like he'd done that fight, then had to wait for a while Masato fought and whatever, and yeah, then had to get back out and fight again. I mean, I imagine his shins would be sore. I've done a couple of tournaments similar to myself, but obviously not as big as K1. Yeah, I mean, Buakaw at this time, it's pretty much his K1 debut. I think he might have fought Jordan Tai maybe like a couple months before, but that was it. Sort of still very, very new to K1. Yeah, so Buakaw didn't do that well in the Muay Thai stadiums. He was never a Lumpini or Rajadamnern champion. He had the Omnoi Stadium title, but that's not really. I mean, it's a decent title for people to win, of course, but it's not a Lumpini or a Rajadamnern, and not massively respected in Thailand. Some good Thais had fought in K1 at this point. There was Sakadao, who I'm not sure how good he was, but there was Kaulan, who was a 3-time Lumpini Stadium champion and a WMC champion. Yeah, and both of them had came up short in the K1 GPs. There was also Malipet Sasiprapa, who was a K1 Super League fighter. I think, if someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Super League was also K1. Just let me know in the comments, because I know Peter Crook, John Wayne Parr, Albert Kraus and Malipet all fought in Super League, and I'm pretty sure that it was K1, but K1 Max and K1 Super League was separate, even though I had some of the same fighters, I think. But as far as I know, Malipet was never in a K1 GP. But also a good Thai at the time. Yeah, I think he still fights actually. I know he's got a gym in California, I think. What's interesting is that Buakaw got through this GP at the time, and clinch was still allowed in K1 rules at the time. And then it's widely believed that because Buakaw did so well with the clinch, they took clinch out by the next GP. So yeah, that was when you'll see that between the 2004 GP, which is this one, and I think there's the next one at Buakaw. So then 2005 Buakaw was in the GP but lost against Sato, I believe. I think that's where he lost via stoppage. And then there's a 2006 GP which Buakaw also wins, but he pretty much smashed everybody up with his hands. So it seems like they took clinch out of K1, and then he was like, okay, well, I'll get you with boxing then. A lot of people think the Thais don't box very well, but the thing is that the whole of Muay Thai is really, because of it being around gambling and whatever else, that boxing just doesn't score as much, so they don't focus on it as much. But there are definitely good boxers in Thailand. In fact, they still have a national service in Thailand, so I think it's like 1/3 of all men have to go to the army, and boxing there is really big. Somlok Kamsing was an Olympic gold medalist, who he's thought to be one of the best ever, if not the best ever Muay Thai fighter. And the way that he used his boxing was, he'd slip and then go into like a spinning elbow. Crazy, he really made use of it in this Muay Thai. But yeah, I mean, Buakaw, you can see in this fight, he's happy to be at kicking range. He's happy to be boxing with you. I mean, just so well timed. His timing is also perfect. He was really on form, and you got to kind of understand that the determination it would have taken. I'm sure that there were a lot of naysayers. Like I said, Buakaw hadn't done that well in the Bangkok stadiums. So I'm sure a lot of people didn't believe in him. And sometimes the only person that you need to have believing in you is you. And, respect to him. He came through, took on a different rule set, and did really well with it. And he's gone on to do things that the Thais, like, not just Thais, but no fighter will ever do. He's done a lot of really good stuff, like tried to expose gambling in K1 and, corruption. I think prior to this tournament, he was actually wanting to retire. But then the opportunity came up, and then, he carried on wanting to retire, and they didn't let him. Paul Pramuk was the gym at the time, and they wouldn't let him retire. So then he went through some legal issues, whatever else, and now he's, Buakaw Banchamek. Pretty interesting story. Apparently the king got him pardoned and said that it was too much of an asset to Thailand, and I could be wrong, like this is just what I've heard, but that's what they say. But you can see this night he was really on form, really hungry, wanted to win. Masato was a beast, he was the previous year's champion, and he'd beat Sakadao for that. But as I say, Sakadao, I don't really know that much about him. I couldn't find his record online or anything, but I'm sure he was a decent level Muay Thai fighter. So much good. If you slow this fight down and just watch Buakaw's work in this, it's all exceptional. You're like, wow, how can you be better than that? Sorry, I'm really sick at the moment. I've had 4 days in bed, so that's why I've been a bit quiet on the channel. As I say, this is the second video in this series that I'm doing. I'm not really looking at this as a judge or a coach or even a fighter. I'm just saying this is what we can learn from these guys. I'm not talking about score or anything. But you can easily see Buakaw's up here. It looks like they're taking the best highlights that they can to make Masato look good. But truth is, Buakaw's really, you watch the 2 rounds and you'll see Buakaw's winning this. I mean, imagine the fitness that they would have had. They're going into their 9th round of the night. And it's not that they've done 9 rounds back to back. They've had 3 rounds, then go and have half an hour, 45 minutes in the back. Oh, excuse me. And then then I have to get warm again, go and fight again, go back, go and ice their shins, go and ice their forearms. Wow. Look at the work that he's putting in here. Poor Masato, he's taken a beating, but he's Japanese, like a real samurai. Masato, such a beast, and his boxing and everything was so good. It's just that Buakaw here is just really on form. It would have been interesting to see, would they have kept clinching K1 if it wasn't for Buakaw? because it really was, like if you look at it, it's like, he came in and clinched everybody and they took it out. But yeah, I could have made 10 videos on Buakaw. He's really is like one of the best guys to watch and learn from. And even if you just put in Buakaw training on YouTube, you'll see, like, if that's what it takes to be the best, then that's what you better start trying to replicate. Absolutely smashes the pads. Just a hard worker, and you kind of have to give extra respect because he wasn't a Lumpini and Rajadamnern champion. You have to be like, oh, so the underdog did well, I like those stories. Look, he's just having fun with Masato now. Just a little bit of time wasted. Yeah. I mean, now you can see that, like, he probably is knackered, like, exhausted. But you can kind of see he feels like he's comfortably ahead, and in my opinion, he would be. I think they're all 10-9 rounds so far. Even under new K1 rules, you'd have to give it to Buakaw. There you go. So Buakaw thinks he's won. Masato seems to be, pretty sad. Looks like he's lost to me. But the K1 being what it was at the time. I think, is it here? Yeah, they're going through the judges' scorecards now, and it looks like they've read out a score here. I don't have the volume turned on, so I think that says it all. Someone has Masato winning. So, yeah, K1 being what it was at the time, preferring the Japanese and the Dutch guys. I guess it's because of the money that they bought in and whatever. And they obviously didn't expect Buakaw to be as good as he was. They, have to go one last round. So not only has Buakaw fought at least 9 rounds now, Masato has to, but now he has to fight an extra round. And Buakaw is like, even though he's been ahead, he has fought his balls off to, secure that victory, and it was taken from him. So this is what I think you should be looking at Buakaw for, is the extra preparation. He, if you watch any of his fights, he never looked unfit. Like, yeah, he's lost a couple, but you can never say that he wasn't in shape. And his ability to go through the gears with people, you'll never see anybody outworking him. If someone tries to put a pace on him, he'll go with them, and they'll soon slow it back down again. He's happy to go through at his own pace and pick it up as it goes, but he'll never take his foot off the gas, and if you want to go with him, he'll go with you. But yeah, I've never seen anyone really outworking him. Even against, like, was it Dial Zanev or something, the Russian guy that cuts him open in the first round. If you watch the rest of that fight, Buakaw outworks him, like, he really does try and do a number on him, and but he just can't catch up points wise. So yeah, imagine the fatigue and the pain, where he's been hit already and whatever else, his shins, everything. And he's got to go through another round. I know Masato's tired too, but yeah, I saw an interview with Buakaw on Fight World. It's on Netflix actually. If you look at Fight World, they've got one. And it features Buakaw for a second, and they ask him like, do you prepare for fighters? And I'm not quoting, but he pretty much says that he won't train for a specific opponent. He just wants to be good, be the best at everything. So unless his opponent does something exceptionally well, he won't even really look at them. He'll just make sure that he's training hard. And if you're ever struggling for motivation, or you're getting a bit tired in your pad rounds, just think about Buakaw, and the amount of work that he would have had to have done to be fit enough to do this, coming in as an underdog, even among his own people. They would have probably preferred whoever else was K1 Lumpini champion at the time to represent Thailand. They had Buakaw, and I'm pretty sure that Buakaw got in as a replacement opponent for somebody. I'm not sure, but I think that was what happened. But yeah, he came in fit, ready, done his training. He was fit. Yeah, from a tiny little village in Surin province. If you ever go up to Surin province in Thailand, it's just rice fields everywhere. Even now, there's not much there. The people are very nice, and it's actually a beautiful part of the country, but there's not much going on there. It's a very agricultural area, and that's where he's from. And he made it to Bangkok to go and train at Port Pramuk. Then worked his balls off, came up short in the stadiums, but then, when the life-changing opportunity came, he was fit and he was ready to take it. And even though he has come up short other times, he has lost fights since. He, he's always been fit, he's always been ready, and that's what you should take away from Buakaw. So, what can we learn from Buakaw is train really fucking hard. Yeah, and like, even when you lose, it's okay. Learn your lesson and come back. It's all right. Honestly, in Muay Thai, you'll find that the records don't matter as much. It's not boxing where you have a loss and that means that it's over, or MMA, you have a loss and that's it. You won't be a Conor McGregor now. It's not like that. It's more about who you've had good fights with, and you can have a great career even with 50-50 losses or whatever. It's okay. I mean, my first few fights, I had one win, then 2 losses, and I thought it was over. And then I started to watch loads of stuff about, Buakaw mainly because I felt like we had similar weapons. I had a nice left kick, and my hands were okay. So that was who I tried to replicate more. And I watched a lot of stuff about him, and at one point I'm pretty sure we'd lost 10 fights in a row, and still managed to become what he did. And still is now he's a super icon in Thailand. He's on TV commercials all the time, even now, and he's he's probably the most famous Muay Thai fighter of all time. Maybe Sanchai's up there, or Somrat Kamsing, someone like that, but I think Buakaw is still number 1. Somrat's actually one that you should think about if you're thinking that Thais don't have good boxing. Somrat Kamsing was Olympic gold medalist. So yeah, that's what we can learn from Buakaw. Bit of a good fight. But let's speak soon, guys. I'll have another one of these videos done soon. I've just been feeling a bit sick the last few days, so I had a bit of time off. But yeah, if you've got any videos or fighters that you'd like to see in this thing, then just link them in the description. I'm happy to have a look. And if you've got any videos of your fights or training videos, I've got my socials in the description. You can send them over. All right, guys, let's speak soon.